Hello. Um, this video is going to be about it's part of my quest to bring some honesty into the discussion about alcoholism and addiction in general. And by far, by far, the greatest uh, the greatest number of treatment facilities throughout the United States use the 12-step model in their approach to addiction. And I'm going to talk a little, I'm going to, what I'm going to say applies to, is about alcoholism, but it also applies to addiction. So you have learned, you've gone to the treatment centers and after the treatment centers, maybe you've gone to AA meetings, many AA meetings, maybe, and you you've learned that alcoholism is a disease. Okay, so I'm going. I don't really like to read on these videos, but I'm going to read you something from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm going to read from the third edition of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the third edition, and it's going to be a very brief reading, but it will show you what the early AAs thought about alcoholism, and specifically what the co-founder of AA, Dr. Bob Smith, what he thought about alcoholism. Okay, so listen, I'll read it here briefly, and you'll see what I mean. This is from the story He Thought He Could Drink. Uh, for those of you that may not be AA members, let me give you a brief background. Um, if you're not an AA member, you probably don't know this, but the program of Alcoholics Anonymous has a book. It's called The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and over the years, it's gone through 4 editions. And I'm going to read from the third edition of Alcoholics Anonymous. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, this is from the story He Thought He Could Drink. And this man was one of the his name was Abby G. I think I'll put a link down there to his biography. And he was one of the very earliest AAs. And his his sponsor was Clarence Snyder, and Clarence Snyder's sponsor was Dr. Bob. And yeah, you can read more about him. And he was a Catholic. Suppose that's relevant. So just let me read it here to you. Okay, it's very brief. It's from the story He Thought He Could Drink. And Abby G is talking to Dr. Bob. And here's what Dr. Bob had to say. Doc dwelled on the idea that this was an illness, but Doc was pretty frank with me. He found that I had enough faith in the Almighty to be fairly frank. He pointed out to me that probably it was more of a moral or a spiritual illness than it was a physical one. And that's from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. the co-founder of AA, saying it's a moral or a spiritual illness, not a physical illness. His sponsee is saying that he wasn't if he wouldn't have been so frank to him if he didn't have uh, some faith in God. So there you have it, third edition of Alcoholics Anonymous. And so when you hear all these people in Alcoholics Anonymous talking about uh, you got a disease, you got a physical disease, you're bodily different, um, try pointing out to them from the third edition of Alcoholics Anonymous that the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous did not believe it was a physical disease. He believed it was a moral and uh, or spiritual illness. And as a matter of fact, Dr. Bob was exactly right. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and God bless.